Okay, so now we're going to try to get this front sprocket off after a couple days. I needed to procure, well, in this case, a front stand, just because I thought that would be better to have long term, because I want to do some fork work and brakes and wheels up front, and I've already got a center stand for the back. So what we've got is this guy here, if you can see it. Triple tree stand, straight from Amazon. Not terribly cheap cost-wise, but pretty cheaply made. But I'm hoping it'll at least do this trick. So the idea here is the foot pegs are mounted to this bracket. This bracket is in the way of getting the sprocket off. So there are two Torx bolts. I think they're T50s. And let me grab the bit here. We can see that up close. Torx. And down here we've got this one here, and then this one here, and then I went ahead and broke this free a little bit just to allow it to swing. So the idea is to get these two bottom ones out, let this swing down a little, and get the sprocket off. So I already broke these free using a hand impact, just because I can control how much force it gets and make sure nothing gets stripped out or too banged up with too much power, like a electric or a pneumatic impact might do. But anyway, so let's see if we can get this thing down. This bolt back here actually holds, well, I don't know. It's hard to say exactly without figuring this out, taking it apart. So we're going to pull these guys off and see how this goes. And I'm going to kind of hold on to the bike too, because it's not super stable up here. It's okay. I don't think it's going to just topple over, but I would not leave it on this front stand alone. It works pretty good when it's on the center stand, which I think is what it's designed for, is if you have a specifically a rear stand of some sort. So instead of holding on to the foot pegs that's on the bracket, we'll hold on down here. One. Okay, so I got this guy free. I'm going to pull this little bolt out. This holds the kickstand holder, and yeah, everything seems to drop down. Seems a little precarious, mostly just because it's on this stupid stand. Get this out of here, and it's super dirty. That's still hooked together there. Well, I think maybe if we get this guy out a little more, we can have room to pull this bracket back and off. Don't know if that would have worked the first time instead of the kickstand bolt, but I don't think so. We've got a lot going on here for this little guy. Alright, my two washers fell off. Obviously this thing came off. And now we can get the sprocket out. So I guess since this is all out, I'm going to work on cleaning all this off and making sure the stand is steady. Maybe I'll put a bolt back in and put it back on the center stand with the bracket, foot peg bracket off, and clean everything up good. That seems like the way to go. So the idea is once you get this off or out of the way, how ridiculous is that? We can loosen this nut all the way off. I think there's a washer right here as well. And pull the sprocket off. So yeah, all that to get this little guy off. Alright, so I will be back once I get this cleaned up a bit. So this took a bit of work getting all of this off of here, which seems extreme for just replacing front sprocket, but I'm probably not the only one to curse Ducati for that. So what I've got here looks like a mess. Tried to clean it up a little bit. I've just got this block of wood sort of holding the center stand down while I mess with everything else. Kickstand was kind of just out of the way. Still a little precarious. But since we're in here, we've got everything cleaned up enough, I believe. Let's see, we've got this washer and the nut. Again, the manual I think recommends putting a little bit of lube grease on the nuts before you torque them down. I'll have to look up the torque value on this guy again. It's fairly high, not as much as the rear axles, but I'm not going to torque it down right now anyway. I'm just going to get things back together so I can put the bike back on its center stand so it's safe. So the other sprocket, the old sprocket, new sprocket. Alright, so this, if you could hold the back to keep this from rotating while you're getting this sprocket on, you'll have a little bit of easier time getting it on there. So we got that guy, and we've got the washer goes on in front. So this was the washer where the lip was turned, bent out to prevent it. So I was kind of looking to see if I could tell. I kind of flattened it out pretty good, but it probably doesn't matter since we'll just pick a corner and bend it back out once we get it all back together and torqued down. So no biggie there. It's a lot of no biggies that add up over time. All right, so we want our foot peg bracket back on. I put the center stand brackets on just to made me feel better, and I thought about putting it back on the center stand, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do now is pull these two bolts back out once again, and then once I do that, I'll get the foot peg bracket back on and align everything, and hopefully we can call it good after that. So here we go. All right, so got it all back together. Now, I put one of the washers behind the kickstand instead of behind the foot peg plate, so I had to pull that back off and put it back in. So that's what happens. You get going, you forget things, you have to redo things. Just make sure you redo them once you figure out you forgot them. That should be it. So front sprocket, rear sprocket, next is the chain, and yeah, then happy day. So here we go.